Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to our review of the Coway Airmega Air Purifier. This air purifier has been around since 2017, but it's still one of the best-selling air purifiers on the market. I bought one this week and put it through all kinds of tests to find out if there's still a reason to buy it in 2022, and spoiler alert, I think it's one of the best air purifiers I've tested, at least in some ways, despite its relatively low price. So links in the description, and let's get started. First, the basics. The Coway Airmega comes in a black and a white version. Its main method of cleaning the air is with a fairly large true Hepa filter, filtering 99.97% of particles down to 0.3 microns in size, including pollen, pollutants, and other allergens. It also has a filter treated with activated carbon to filter volatile organic compounds or VOCs and to help with odors, as well as a simple mesh pre-filter to capture really large particles. As far as its operation, it has 3 fan speeds, as well as an auto mode, which uses an internal particle counter to detect your air quality. If it's really dirty, it's going to boost the fan. If it's not, it will lower the fan speed automatically, or go into echo mode to save power. It has an air quality indicator light with 3 colors representing good, not so good, and bad air quality, a feature which I really like and almost consider a must-have for air purifiers. It also has an optional electric ion system button, which I did not test for reasons I'll talk about later. Moving on to the tests and why I think the Coway is so interesting. I tested its airflow on each of its power settings and found that it was very powerful. While its first 2 power settings were very close to the same, its max power setting was measured at 108 CFM, which is incredibly high. More than all of the others I've tested except for one of the most expensive air purifiers on the market, the IQ Air. And if you take noise level into account, it was actually the best airflow to decibel rating of all of those I've tested, including the IQ Air. Noise level is really important with air purifiers. You want them to move air as fast as possible without being too loud. And all things considered, the Coway Airmega was incredibly good at balancing airflow and noise. This high airflow was more or less confirmed with the other tests, like the box speed test, where we fill a box full of fog for 10 seconds and see how quickly it can clear it. And on max power, it was again the best I'd seen at this test, though it was really close. I did multiple 1-hour max power tests, both at the studio and at my house. The studio room is about 360 square feet with relatively high ceilings. At my house, it was more like 1,200 square feet if you include all the rooms on the second floor. With the 360 square foot studio room, it was again better than both the best-selling Levoit and the most expensive IQ Air, but also again not by much, and probably well within the margin of error, but still a 93% reduction in all particles in 1 hour, which is really good. And at my house, it reduced all the particles by 80% in 1 hour on max power, which is pretty good. But where it really impressed me is with what I call the real world test, which is where I put it on the fan setting that I would be most likely to use. In this case, that would be power level 2, and let it run overnight at my house. Then I use a particle counter to test how low the overall particle levels were the next morning. And here again, it was the best I'd ever seen, getting the particle levels down to nearly non-existent levels. Another big pro with the Coway is its initial cost and the cost of replacement filters, which are both fairly low compared to its competitors. It can't all be good stuff though, so let's move on to the cons. The first thing I'll mention is the activated carbon filter, which is not of particularly high quality since it's just treated with activated carbon. It doesn't actually contain pieces of activated charcoal like more expensive ones do. This isn't a big deal unless you're buying it specifically to reduce volatile organic compounds like formaldehyde or ethanol. That being said, activated carbon filters are also what filter out odors, and while I don't test for odor reduction or VOCs, I would expect the Coway not to be as good as its more expensive competitors here, like the IQ Air or the Dysons, which use actual activated charcoal pieces. Also, I wanted to mention the ion button, which is an optional feature where when activated, it will generate an electrochemical reaction to reduce particles. This method of filtration is a bit controversial in terms of its effectiveness, and it's mostly fallen out of favor in the air purifier world these days. Also, the one that I bought, the black version, was really bad about collecting fingerprints and hair and smudges and things, and it wasn't really that easy to wipe down. If I had to do it all over again, I would definitely buy the white version. The bottom line though is that I was really impressed with the Coway Airmega, and I think if I did my best air purifier of 2022 video today, the Coway Airmega would definitely win the best value category. Links in the description, and be sure to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you leave. Thanks for watching.